When you're building your character in Wasteland 3, we provide you a ton of granular control over every aspect of your character. If you like deep, crunchy stats, you're gonna love diving into the derived stats of each character in Wasteland 3. After the apocalypse, nobody came out unscathed. Everyone is a little crazy in their own way, and we represent that in character creation through the quirk system. When you're picking your character, you can pick a powerful bonus, and it's always tied to a super powerful penalty. So for instance, you can be a pyromaniac and you do tons of bonus elemental damage, but every time you go to light a fuse on a grenade or you shoot off a rocket launcher, you risk bursting into flames, which you yourself is more than happy to do, but I think the rest of your team is gonna wish you were a little more alive to see the rest of the fight out. One of the really important elements is grounding the player in your game, clearly explaining what each one of these stats are and how they're important to the player, and most importantly, how it's going to impact their play style. If a character wants to be weak, they need to know exactly what that entails. You're not going to be throwing grenades very far. You go down in combat very quickly. You're not able to lift heavy armor. And those are all things they need to know right from the get-go, because nothing is more frustrating than getting 30 hours into the game only to realize that you made a mistake in character creation and now you regret your past choices and you want to start over. That feels terrible. So everything you can do to surface that information to the player early and often is really great during character creation. Since I have a really good understanding of how Wasteland works, I can build some really specific characters, so I'll give you a couple of cheats. You can build characters that are basically missiles, built to die, and then your combat medic just picks them up and patches them up at the end of every combat. By building a character with Death Wish, stacking speed, and then giving them a bladed weapon, they can shoot out at the start of combat, cover tons of ground, and make a huge impact at the beginning of the game, to inevitably be filled with holes on round 2 or 3 by the enemy. But by then they've kind of filled their purpose, and so they die with honor. Additionally, one of my favorite combos that we added was literally the combo meter. If you're specifically a brawler, meaning you're punching people in the Wasteland, you're bringing fists to a gunfight, that starts off really weak, and it's gonna feel like a wrong choice right at the start of the game, but if you stick to it, you get to build up something called a combo meter. Every time you hit an enemy, your critical hit chance and your critical hit damage keep going up and up and up and up. If your character is also intelligent, the critical hit damage bonuses and critical hit chances you get will stack on top of each other, meaning your hyper-intelligent, nerdy brawler is gonna be exploding people in the endgame. When building a party in Wasteland 3, it's important to remember that you're not just building an individual character, but you're building a member of a team. Your Ranger squad is a team of specialists, and each one is gonna have their own job to do. So building any one character to be an all-arounder is not gonna service you when you have 5 other party members that can fill very specific roles. It's really important that when you're building your party, that you diversify the kind of ammo that they're consuming. This is really, in a lot of modern shooters, ammo's super plentiful, but in the world of Wasteland, there's not really a production line for bullets, so everyone's firing antiques in effect. And so the bullets that were there before the bombs drop are the bullets everyone's using. And so they can be incredibly rare, and they act as a really important money sink for your party. And you can find yourself really up shit's creek if you're in the middle of a boss fight and everyone in your party is using energy ammo, and now all of a sudden everyone's out of ammo because someone fired the last shot, and now you're left unarmed and punching a giant Scorpatron. So it's critical that somebody's using small caliber bullets, energy weapons, and most importantly, that you have a couple of people using melee weapons, because those don't need to be reloaded. So for people who are new to Wasteland 3 and really just want to get into the thick of it as fast as humanly possible, and don't profoundly care about nitpicking over every single property of their characters, they can jump straight into the action with character duos. That's a new feature we've brought to Wasteland, where you can pick an initial group of characters that come as a package set. These characters come ready to rock, armed with weapons, skills, abilities, quirks, perks, trinkets, everything that you want. But in addition to that, they add an extra level of flavor to the game, which is really fun. As you're playing through the game, they're gonna banter back and forth. They have little extra things they get to say as they're playing. And as a new dad, my favorite of all of them is Lee Sing and William. William is a battle-hardened, traumatized soldier, and Lee Sing's his daughter, and Lee Sing does all the talking for him. So he just kind of grunts stoically and has short one-word answer, and then Lee Sing acts as her translator, and it adds these really charming elements throughout the game. So as you're playing, these duos give their perspective on what's going on in the world and kind of help give you context. When we look to evolve the combat system in Wasteland 2, we wanted to keep the crunchy, really satisfying elements of its turn-based strategy, and we wanted that to carry over into Wasteland 3, but we also wanted to remove a lot of the elements that just weren't fun. One of the #1 elements that we looked to improve upon was how enemies resolved their turn. In Wasteland 3, the players' turns are bunched together and so are the enemies. So when the enemy goes, you see all of them move all at once, take their shots, bop, 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 activate their abilities, and then you're back in the driver's seat again. And as a player, having your turn bunched together rather than having to use our old initiative system allows you a ton more tactical flexibility. Now, just about every combat skill provides one or more different abilities that really opens up the number of things you can do. If you're using a heavy machine gun, you can expend a ton of ammo and blaze suppressing fire over the battlefield. If you're using a pistol, you can perform a strict shot to automatically charge your strike meter. If you are using an assault rifle, you can use a piercing shot to rip armor off of enemies and puncture through cover. There's tons of options now, and every single person on the battlefield is going to feel like they have a very distinct role, and there's going to be a moment where they save the day, and that's really what abilities allow us to do. When we moved the game to Colorado, the super blizzard that you were dealing with would have killed you from exposure in minutes. So we brought you the Kodiak. This is your companion in the Wasteland. As you're driving around and random encounters pop up, that Kodiak and its souped up energy cannon that you mounted on its hood are going to be helping you blow away, rad hoppers and shock dogs as you're navigating your way from Colorado Springs to Denver. As you explore the world map, you're going to bump into things like radiation. You're going to want to go back to your garage to customize your car, soup up your radiation protection, add a little extra armor, or maybe add a La Cucaracha horn so that you have something to entertain yourself while you're driving around. There's tons of really cool customization options with the Kodiak that let you not only customize its appearance and style and really express yourself, but it also lets you take it into combat and just blow enemies away. There's massive saw cannons, there's magnetron emitters, there are goat cannons that you can use to launch living fodder into the air and bombard your enemy with goats, literally. So as you play, you're gonna unlock all sorts of fun and funny and wild upgrades for your car that you're gonna see and you're gonna get to enjoy as you drive around the world map. In Wasteland 3, more than any other game I've made or played, you are in the driver's seat. You're able to negotiate peace treaties between different groups. You're able to annihilate entire populations if you want. We let you do whatever you want. You can screw yourself up dramatically. Like in my playthrough, I kind of killed every merchant that I came across, and now it's really hard to buy ammo. But that's totally on me because I had good reasons at the time. Most of them had to do with them not giving me discounts.
All spotless, are they white as the snow? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb?